Okay, we're nearing the end of the session. I wanted to do, Penny gets very excited for walks. Now, the Guardian has an issue where mobility is a little bit difficult for her at times, so the walks aren't as long as we probably like. But for dogs, actually shorter, more frequent walks are actually better than one longer walk. So one of the things I recommend the Guardian do is maybe take her for 3 short walks, provided that she feels good and comfortable about it. Now, it's better to walk earlier in the day than later in the day. Dogs kind of compound their energy all day long. So now there are other things we can do. If she likes to play fetch, we can throw the ball. I'm going to see if I have my batteries are still good. I have a little laser. Some of my clients actually can run the laser around the house and get the dog to chase it. That's a great way to burn energy, especially if we have mobility issues, because we're just standing in place and the dog's the one doing all the work. Fetch and something that causes the dog to pursue something is a better, more efficient way of exercising them than a walk. Walks are good because it helps us display leadership, but it's not the most efficient way for a dog to actually get its exercise. Now, in this video, we're going to go over tips and tricks on how you can help your dog behave well on a walk. Most people, the dog gets excited for the walk, and this is a form of classical conditioning, which is Pavlov's dog. Pavlov noticed if he every time he brought out food for his dog would drool, and anticipating the food. And so what he started doing is ringing the bell at the same time that he presented the food, and after a while he would ring the bell without the presence of the food and the dog would still drool. It had associated the two things together. So in classical conditions, something happens and it is immediately followed by something the dog really likes. And so the dog starts to associate the thing that happens first with the thing that they really like, and they get really excited. Now we just got, I asked the Guardian to demonstrate putting Lucy on a leash. Lucy. Sorry about that, Penny. That was yesterday's dog. And Penny, as soon as she picked up the leash, Penny jumped up from the ottoman to the couch, to the back of the couch, and jumped down, then ran over and jumped up on the Guardian. So, like I said in one of the earlier videos, excited is not necessarily happy when it comes to dogs. Excited is an unbalanced state of mind. The dog's energy in your house before you leave the house is going to have a correlation to the energy that they're going to have on the walk. So the very first thing that I want to do is the Guardian here doesn't do this, but the very first mistake most people do is they tell the dog, you want to go for a walk? Let's go for a walk. You want to go for a walkie-walkie? And we get the dog all worked up. That's just setting your dog up for failure. The Guardian does not do that here, which is awesome. But the dog probably recognizes the Guardian sits in a certain spot and puts on their shoes, and then she grabs the poop bag, and then she grabs this and her sunglasses. We're about to go for a walk. She sees the warning signs. And so that gets her more and more excited. So one of the tricks that we can do is actually start practicing those individual steps independent of going for a walk. Actually, all of these things independent of going for a walk. So we help the dog practice. When we have kids in school, we teach them fire drills. And we do it over and over so the kids know where they're supposed to go, because learning in the heat of the moment is a really bad time to learn, and we want to develop that muscle memory for the kids. We're going to do the same sort of thing for the dogs. Now for dogs, whoever's in front is perceived to be the leader. So if I start walking to where the leash is and the dog recognizes it and runs in front of me, and I continue, then it's taken the leadership role in his mind, and her mind, excuse me, and then now I become a follower. So the very first step that I do is I would deprogram the dog by practicing putting my shoes on, or whatever the things that are rituals that are associated with the walk, independent of the walk, so the dog starts to disassociate them. The second thing that I would do is actually, on my process of walking to where the leash is, as soon as the dog walks in front of me, I turn around and I go sit back down. Now, this is why it's helpful to do this at times when you're not actually taking your dog for a walk, because we typically have very busy schedules. The Guardian might be like, okay, I have an hour. I can take the dog for a 10-minute walk, then I can come back and grade papers, and I can do this errand and that errand and this, and then I can still leave and get to dinner or whatever it is. And then when the dog jumps around and we have to chase the dog, we get frustrated at the dog. And then the dog's frustrated with us, and it's just not a pleasant experience. So by practicing this at times when you have like 5 minutes in between commercials of a TV program, get up and practice this, and as soon as the program starts again, you stop. Then the dog is no longer completely associated with it. So the very first stage, I'm going to kind of go ahead and pantomime this, where I'm going to go actually demonstrate. Now Penny's right here on the couch because her Guardian is sitting on the couch, and normally the Guardian is when it takes her for a walk. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the leash, and you see Penny's very excited. She comes over here. Penny, come. Sit. Now at this point is when I would normally want to reach for the leash. I grab the leash because that is what got her here. Sit. The Guardian normally is going to be the one coming here. So as the Guardian comes here, once we get here, we tell her to sit. Now I reach for it. If she gets up, I put it back. Now she didn't get up there, but she started showing a little bit of excitement. Now that's submissive. She rolled over on her back and gave me her belly. I asked her guardian to stop petting her when she does that because that's too submissive. Penny, here, come. I don't want that. I want submission. There we go. Sit. So as soon as she sits, I start to reach in to pet for her. And as soon as she starts getting excited and gets up out of the sit, the thing that she wants, it stops. And when she does this, I just stop and I can wait. There we go. Penny. Sit. Penny. Again, too submissive, so that's why we want to stop doing this. But this energy is pretty calm. Comparatively to, you saw how she jumped down, this is about half the energy she had with her guardian. So her guardian is going to practice this exercise in a minute. I always like to do it myself for the videos so the guardian can watch the good example. Not that the guardian does it wrong, but, well, the guardian unintentionally is doing it in a way that probably gets the dog excited, and this is a very common thing that a lot of people do. But if we have a dog, Penny here, with this energy, this is going to, sit. This is going to be a much more enjoyable walk with her having this energy than start off when she can jump up this high. She's a really good athlete. And then she's going to run out and she's going to be tearing all over the place. So by breaking it down into individual steps, helping the dog practice it, especially at times when we don't go for a walk, we can help the dog stay relaxed. My rule of thumb is I usually like to practice for about a week, going through this leashing up ritual 5 times for every 1 time that I take the dog for a walk. So now it's only 20% of the time. Does the leash go on? Does we go for a walk? The dog's like, this is not the drill. Boring. I'm tired. Oh, we're walking. And you almost catch her by surprise. So these are an exercise that you can do to help your dog feel calm and relaxed before you start your walk.